Start.
Well, hi, Brian.
Hi, Deborah. Welcome to the YouTube interviews. And this is all about the effects of the COVID-19 virus on the arts and beyond. My name is Brian Murphy. This is my dear friend, Deborah Novak. She's the artistic director of the dance department at the Marshall University in Huntington, West Virginia. Hi, how's it going? Look at you. You're holding onto your phone or something, the whole thing.
I'm holding it up, or I would wave to you.
So you were just about to tell me about what you've been doing since this whole thing happened. Tell all of us what you've been doing.
Well, we were absolutely crazy right up to the point where they canceled absolutely everything. And I thought, oh my God, I'm going to be so bored. I'll be in the house all day long. I'm quarantined. I don't have anything to do. Wrong. The exact opposite has happened.
Wow.
I am so busy with classes, with teaching online, with taking my own classes, taking my yoga, taking my various weight classes and bars and things like that. Plus, I'm a flute player, so this gives me chance.
Oh, wait. What are you doing? What player are you? What do you do?
I'm a flute player. I played for about flute. I played for about 25 years.
Do you happen to have your flute close by?
It's in my studio. It's in the other room. I've got a wonderful flute, and I just had it overhauled. It's a Branham, and it's
I may ask you to play. I think that I might ask you to take a chance at get it, and I think we're all going to want to hear you play. So, you just joined the Marshall University this past September,
right?
So here you are trying to create programming. Here you are trying to do the shows, and then this happens. How did your students respond?
Oh, it was devastating at first, Brian, because we were just right up to the point of getting our major dance gala going.
Yes.
And we pulled in really, really top-notch talent. Yourself, the Charleston Ballet, the Beckley Dance Theater. We had the finest dancers in West Virginia that wanted to be in this gala. And they called me in on my final tech. I choreographed a piece that was in. They called me in. They said, "Congratulations, Deb. You are the last public performance at Marshall University before we're going to close the university."
I remember this. Yes.
Yes. Wonderful.
Yes.
And then that was Wednesday afternoon. Then the NBA closed its season Wednesday night. I think the NHL followed. And I woke up to a frantic call on Thursday morning that said, and I was supposed to go on TV that morning too to publicize it. And my chair said, "We just can't. We just can't." So we had the rug pulled out from under us.
That must be devastating.
It was devastating at the time. All these plans. Plus, I'm in Don Q. We were going to do Don Q at Marshall in May.
I would have loved that.
I know.
I would have. That's great. And you still can't. And you're not doing it. And you're not doing it. I was
working on the Gypsy in Act 2. The famous Gypsy variation.
I do.
And so that all just stopped. Everything just stopped. And I'm sure, this is a familiar story. All the dancers around the country have felt this. It's just all of a sudden there's nothing. I have to be home. And my first thought was, oh my God, what am I going to do? Well, I have a wonderful yoga studio here in Huntington, and they immediately went online. Brown Dog Yoga, God bless them. So all my yoga classes were there, but I also take something called Fusion, which is a weight class, light weights, basically. Fusion and bar, the famous bar classes. I also take those. I find a lot of value in those.
I love
that. So I take every morning, I take at least 2 of those, and they're all online, and that's my morning. Then have lunch with Andrew Cuomo.
No, oh God, oh yes, of course. So he says a lot of good. He's really pulled forward in this, hasn't he? He's really done a good job.
And then I start my ballet, and then it's various classes. I don't know if you've seen the Gaynor Minden website, but there's various classes, free classes from people all over the world are giving class. I personally prefer the Dutch National Ballet that is also on YouTube. And then I find a point bar. I always get on point every single day, because that's one thing you can do. If you have a studio, you don't have to jump. It doesn't take a lot of room for that. You just put your point shoes on and do a point bar. So I always do ballet slippers and a point bar every single day. Then it's time to practice my flute. And
which we're going to hear, I said. I think we're going to hear that. You can practice on this now if you wanted to.
Right now, working on the Prokofiev Sonata.
Oh, it's just 30 seconds. Okay. So you know what, Deborah, there are going to be a lot of kids going to be listening to this, and I'm going to send this particular to my kids. And as I've always said, that as we get older as dancers, I actually see you as my inspiration, because I think that we tend to think older dancers can't do anything. Look at you, look how busy you are, look at all the stuff that you're doing. It's really important to know you can do this longer than you think, right?
Well, I got to tell you, I'm 65 now.
Okay.
Just got my Medicare card not too long ago.
Yeah.
And I'm a better dancer now than I was when I was 18. Kim Bali said, well, I've had a hip replacement and I've had other things happen. And there's a lot of things, of course, I can't do. And I don't have my split soda shaw anymore, things like that. But I do have other gifts. Mm-hmm. And that's what I encourage people to bring to them. I can tell a story through my dance, I think, pretty well. We'll see through the gypsy variation I'm working on. But I am a pretty good dramatic actress too. I was trained as an actress. I don't know if you know.
I did not know
as
that.
Yeah, I was trained by Stella Adler to be a classical actress. And so, but I always kept up my ballet when I was very young too. So I would go to the Stella Adler Conservatory, take my acting classes, and then it's the old city center in New York. And then I would go up to ABT, which was on 61st Street at that point, and take class after my acting classes. So I always kept it up. Nice. So anyway, now I'm 65, and those acting classes are coming to bear fruit now.
Oh, right? Interesting.
Because I bring that to whatever piece I'm working on.
Great, good for you. But I guess the other inspiration though is that you immediately said, I'm going to take classes, I'm going to do it, I'm going to point every day, because you know that you have to. These kids, they have to go to school, they still have schoolwork, and it gets tiring, but there's just certain things that we have to do, because when we get back in the studio, it's going to be a process to get back in the studio. Mm-hmm. How do you get these kids to understand that? What would you say to a group of kids right now?
Well, I would say, if you love it, do it. If it's only marginal in your life, find something else right now, because it's a lot of work. And when you get to be my age, you have to work 10 times as hard, maybe.
Yeah.
To get up to where because I dance with 18-year-olds. Yeah. I dance with people younger than 18, maybe say 15 to 21 is what you find in the studio. Yeah. And to keep up with them, I have to do a lot of stuff. But I find that there's a lot of people in that age group that I just know that by the time they turn 23, they'll be into something else. Mm. So I'd ask them right now to really search your soul and say, is this for me? Do I really want to do this? Or am I more interested in other things? That's what I tell my students.
And you're saying this is the time now, because we're forced to actually look upon ourselves to make a decision of taking class, or what kind of pathway are we creating for ourselves now? Because we're at home, we can choose what to do. Really, no one's telling us to go one way or the other. It's kind of interesting.
It is.
I mean, it's kind of an interesting place, and I also find it's a place of creativity, and
extreme creativity. Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Brian, I've always said that creativity functions best when it's got a lid on the pot. When there's something holding it down, then you can work within this realm. Mm. There's a misconception I see among college-age students that they want to be free, they want to create anything. That creativity works best when you've, for example, working within the framework of the Stanislavski acting technique, and you apply that technique, or you apply your balletic technique, or what you work within those confines. And and at least I create my best work that way.
Do you
The
find
plays
that,
I've written plays that have been produced in New York, and how did I write them? I wrote them from the point of view of the actor. I wrote these plays that I would apply the Stanislavski technique, and what is my action there? What am I trying to accomplish here? So I wrote them, and they were produced.
did you have a natural ability to act? Did you?
No, I was never natural about anything.
So you
But I
found it
was the
were really
hardest
hard.
worker ever. Nobody could outwork me, and they're still not.
Because you just kind of answered that I was going to ask you a question. You have to be natural, but no, you worked really hard to get where you are right now, which is why the first thing you told me, oh, you know, I take this yoga, I take this ballet. It's ingrained in you.
Yeah.
But you have
This is
to
going to
work
sound
at
strange, but I don't believe in so-called talents. I think all artists are made.
Yes.
I don't think they're born.
Yeah.
You know, even if you take someone as young as, Rimbaud, or the 15-year-old poets that, wrote their best stuff early on. Keats, died at 26. They read an awful lot, and they knew an awful lot of poetry. And I just don't believe, I think talent is a myth. I think we're all made. And what we produce,
interesting. Yes.
What we produce, what comes out of all of this, is the result of years and years of hard work. For example, I didn't prepare for this interview today. I didn't have to. I've been working all my life to prepare for this moment.
I have never prepared either. So here we are. You know what? Look what's come out of it. So that's and because it's so ingrained in us, and you know what I mean. It's so natural for us to talk about it. We could talk for a long time about this because we feel it's so in us. And looking back at when I first started dancing, you're right. I work by nature. I worked really hard. I really wanted it for some reason at the time. I don't remember why, but I did. And I worked very hard.
Gradually, you acquire that technique when you're young, and then as time goes on, you start to explore the ideas. What can I do with this? What can I do to express with this technique? And that's when the artistry really starts to flow.
And maybe you and I will disagree on this, but I think I think that some people have a natural feel to do it. I was always an actor first. Before I was a dancer. I went, wow, like that. But then I honed in and became both later on. Some people have to work a little bit harder at the acting, and their technique comes a little bit easier.
But Brian, I'll tell you, I have a student now which has that affinity for it, that natural inclination to be the artist. But guess who doesn't come to class?
The people who had a natural ability
guess
to do
who's
good
a dime a dozen, right? I've seen them come, I've seen them go.
It's interesting.
But the ones that have the affinity, that have the inclination, that work to develop it, now those are the people that are going to get someplace.
Yeah, it's interesting. I'm going to leave on that note. I think that's a good place to finish this interview, actually, because I think something, hard work. Just gotta make a decision. We make excuses up. We said, well, I'm actually just make the decision. You're gonna do it. Even if
I told my students, if you find yourself saying, I'd rather go to that party down the street than I would go to ballet class. If you find yourself saying that, it's a signal that maybe you're not in the right field.
Yes, and make a decision to do it recreationally and just whatever it is great. But you're right. There's working recreationally, and then there's really going for it. And we just, I think we have to differentiate between both because it's hard work. Yeah. Deborah, this is fantastic. This is exactly what I wanted. So
glad to hear.
Well, first of all, it's good to see you. That's number one.
Only
of
virtually.
Course. It's only virtually. If only virtually. And thanks for taking your time to do this. I do appreciate it.
You're very welcome.
Yes.
Thank you, my darling. I'll see you later.
Okay, bye.